You ever look at a leader, maybe a CEO, a politician, your own boss, and just think to yourself, how did that person get the job? Yeah, you're not alone. It feels like time and time again, the people who climb to the top aren't actually the most competent or the most qualified. It's a real puzzle. Why do we keep getting it so wrong? Well, that's what we're going to figure out. Think of this as an investigation into the human brain, where we're going to uncover the hidden clues that lead us astray.
So let's just get right to it. The central question of our entire investigation. Why are we so bad at picking leaders? Now, this isn't about a few bad choices or a string of bad luck. The truth is, the answer is actually programmed deep, deep inside our own minds.
All right, so our investigation officially begins. And clue number one takes us way, way back. I mean, deep into our evolutionary past. The trail starts with what you could call our brain's ancient programming. Okay, think about it like this. Our brains are basically high-tech computers, but they're running on really, really old software. This software was coded for survival in a world of hunter-gatherers, where you had to make snap decisions about who to trust and who to follow. The problem is, today, when we're looking for a leader in an office, not out on the savannah, our brains are still scanning for those same old primitive physical signs of a capable leader. So what exactly is this ancient software looking for? Well, here's a look at the checklist. Our brains are subconsciously drawn to things like height and a solid physique. We're looking for outward signs of good health. And for men, historically, these exact traits were linked to higher status and, you guessed it, more success in passing on their genes. So while our modern mind is looking for someone who's good at strategy, our ancient brain is still looking for the person who looks like they could win a fight. Let's move on to our second clue, and this one has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Turns out, a huge part of the answer is written all over a potential leader's face. And get this, it takes us as little as 100 milliseconds to judge someone's leadership potential just from their face. That's literally faster than you can blink. And these snap judgments, they're incredibly powerful. So powerful, in fact, that studies have shown they can help predict election outcomes and even correlate with a company's profits. It's a crazy fast mental shortcut, and it's often dead wrong. And this is where it gets really fascinating. These judgments aren't random. There's a theory called the evolutionary contingency hypothesis. That's a mouthful, but what it means is that our preference for a leader's face actually changes depending on the situation we think we're in. For example, check out the table. During times of conflict, we tend to prefer more dominant, masculine-looking faces, strong jaws, heavy brows. Our brain's little shortcut says, follow the tough-looking one. But in times of peace, we lean towards more trustworthy, even more feminine faces. Our brain is constantly trying to match the face to the crisis, whether that crisis is real or imagined. So we've got these ancient physical biases and these split-second facial judgments. But what's the big psychological mechanism that ties this all together? Well, it's time for clue number 3. It's time to unmask the main culprit in our investigation. And here it is. It's called the halo effect. This is a super powerful cognitive bias where just one single positive trait, say a person is attractive or very confident, creates this positive halo around them. And because of that halo, our brain just assumes they also have a ton of other positive traits, that they're smart, they're kind, they're competent, even when there's absolutely zero evidence to back any of that up. And believe it or not, this is not a new idea. The psychologist Edward Thorndike figured this out all the way back in 1920 when he was studying how military officers rated their soldiers. He noticed, as he put it, that there was a marked tendency to think of the person in general as rather good or rather inferior, and to color the judgments by this general feeling. In other words, that one general feeling, that halo, it changed how they saw everything else about the person. And you should know, this is a bias that cuts both ways. You've got the halo effect, where one good thing makes everything look good. You see an attractive person and think, oh, they must be smart and trustworthy too. But there's also its evil twin, the horn effect. That's when one negative trait makes you see everything else as negative. It's why if you land on a company's website and it's clunky and ugly, you immediately assume the whole company's incompetent and you can't trust their product. That first impression is just so powerful. Okay, so how does this halo effect specifically trick us into picking bad leaders? Well, our fourth and final clue reveals how it creates a very specific and very dangerous trap. Welcome to what I call the confidence trap, where we consistently mistake charisma for real competence. This quote right here absolutely nails it. Let me break it down, because it's huge. We are basically wired to choose leaders based on the quantity of their communication, how much they talk, how loudly they talk, how confidently they say it. But leadership effectiveness, actually being good at the job, that's predicted by the quality of what they say. Some people call it the babble hypothesis. We fall for the person who babbles the most confidently. And here's the secret. Confidence is a performance. It's a set of behaviors that anyone can learn. Look at this table. We subconsciously link things like a steady tone of voice, a lot of eye contact, and relaxed posture with high confidence. But someone can be an absolute master at performing all these cues without having any of the skills to back it up. And that's the trap. We see the performance, the halo effect kicks in, and our brain screams, "This person must know what they're doing." And here is the ultimate unfortunate irony. This is the real twist in our story. The exact same confident behaviors that help someone get power are often the very things that sink the ship once they have it. Why? Well, think about it. These super confident leaders often shut down debate. Other people on the team assume the leader has all the answers, so they stop offering their own ideas. They stop participating. And that leads to worse decisions for the entire group. Okay, I know this all sounds a little bleak, but don't worry, we're not doomed to make these mistakes forever. For our final section, we're going to talk about something called smarter followership, how we can all beat these biases for good. So how do we actually override this faulty programming? Well, here are 3 really practical ways to make a smarter choice. First, seek a consensus. Don't just rely on your gut feeling. The best expert is almost always plural, so see what lots of different people think. Second, use structured tests. Focus on what people can actually do, not just how they look or sound. Give them a work sample, test their skills. And third, and maybe this is the most important, focus on the what, not the how. Really listen to the quality and the logic of what someone is saying, and try your best to ignore how confidently they're saying it. So there you have it. Our brains are hardwired with these ancient biases. We're drawn to physical strength, we're swayed by certain faces, and we are absolutely blinded by the shiny halo of confidence. But the first step to beating any bias is just knowing that it exists. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you know the illusion, who will you choose to follow?